I'm not your guardian. I can't see through your skin. Through your
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ECS. Today we have an absolute banger of a game lined up for you today. I gotta say, I've been waiting quite a while. I've been sat in this chair for over 4 days now because this game was actually meant to go live 4 days ago, and I know a lot of people were looking forward to the RCTIC versus Lions Creed, but I mean, we've been waiting so long, and I know everyone is thinking, why are we live on a Thursday? And I know a lot of people are thinking, why is there no one here with me? But, I'm solo casting it because, that it's something that I'm able to do. I do have no co-caster, uh, no one important anyway. So, really, we're just sort of waiting around to maybe hear some voices. Okay, so I wonder. Oh, who's
Little bit
this?
of an improvement just came along, Grissom.
A little bit of an improvement.
Look down on the floor, pick
Oh,
up that jaw that you just dropped. It's me, it's Ebac, everybody's favourite Clash main in ECS. How are you doing, Grissom?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, Eback. Looking forward for today. What about you?
I am looking somewhat forward to it. Not too far forwards, because it's going to be really soon. It's going to be really exciting. RCTIC versus Lions Creed. Now, of course, this is a repeat. I'm not sure if they have played each other since that good old grand final. You think 2 seasons ago, back when we were EEG in our original kind of season. I wasn't even here, it's that long ago. But the final was RCTIC, who moved up all the way from the bottom of the open division right up to the grand final and lost out to Lions Creed. So today, if they haven't already had it at some point, they'll want their revenge.
They absolutely will, and I don't think actually they have played each other since that grand final, as we said. And of course, as this game was planned for the 7th, it has been a delay, which of course is why we're here on a Thursday, not really our usual stream schedule, but hey, we're here. But it's gonna be an absolutely amazing game because I know these two teams, they've went against one of the same team in the past. But before we discuss that, let's take a look at some of the players playing today.
Only because you asked so politely. Well, it's a pretty strong lineup across the board. So many familiar names sticking out. Uh, we've seen so many great performances. Of course, RCTIC, we haven't seen them feature too much yet this season as these games have been rescheduled. It's all a bit of a fuss. So reserving a bit of judgment for them. But Lions Creed, we've seen them in action. And they have been, well, action is probably an understatement as opposed to like their play style, because I've seen multiple players on their lineup get individual, well, not just aces, but moments of brilliance, and their team play in general. They seem to have just stepped it up a bit this season.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one. Lions Creed, just looking at their stats on the board right now, mainly looking at their ratings, none of them were actually under the number of one. And I know you're staring me right in the eye because that is a very. It's something we don't actually see that often here at ECS. The Lions Creed, they've made a huge difference from some of the past games they've actually played. And of course, actually being second on the major standings with a outstanding 10 points, being tied with Skittle JPEG. It's really something that is gonna, well, today's game is going to affect their placement. But actually, one thing to take a look at right now is our map bans, and as we can see, we're obviously going back to Oregon and Club. Hang on, what's this?
Well, if you look directly below me, just around here somewhere, Coastline and Villa is where we are headed to. So a whole journey across Europe, so much more interesting than the kind of transatlantic Oregon and Clubhouse experience, which we enjoy so much. But yeah,
Good.
Coastline and Villa. Of course, a bit more of a mix up, a bit more fruity. And RCTIC have picked Coastline with Lions Creed on Villa. I can't recall honestly seeing these teams on these maps in quite at least quite some time. I recall Lions Creed on Coastline relatively recently. So I know that they can pull out a performance in the, it's not called the semi-final. It's the third versus fourth match in the playoffs against Lexaro, currently PG Tips. Lions Creed won out that match on Coastline, looking thoroughly convincing. So we know they're good. We know they're good on any map. We know they're good, especially specifically on that map as well. So they're going to be a handful. I think it's up to RCTIC today to step up and really prove that they belong in this major division, having done the hard work to get there. And now we're on to the Snoit Kadurps, the predictions. Yeah, what do you think, Grissom?
Well, I do think I did tell you before the game. I think Lions Creative actually got this
Hi,
one
Noodle.
back.
How you do? I like Noodle because he played Clash on Oregon the last time we saw Lions Creed.
Ooh.
I mean, he didn't. It wasn't great because they didn't make a high enough. Hey, Toombs, how you doing? Everybody's being nice to me today.
Oh, we love to see it. Everyone loves feedback. But where's Grissom? No hello to Grissom? Okay. I'll just let you talk then, Ebek, because they don't really like me.
Well, I will talk about that. Whoa! What on earth have we seen? I've never seen this before. Ever. Ash banned. Let's go. Let's go indeed, ladies and gents. I was about to say Blackbeard is quite a strange one. The Ash ban coming out from RCTIC. Now, of course, you could read into that as a direct counter to virtually anyone who is a main fragging player, and Lions Creed have a lot of people. No! Who? Lions Creed, were you being nice to me on purpose just to ban the Clash afterwards?
Oh, well, targeting you with that Clash ban is definitely mean. I'm not sure.
What a set of bans, though, Grissom. What are the implications for these?
A set of bans and a half. I gotta say, I cried a little when I seen the Valkyrie ban because that was an operator I love to see on the map of Coastline, and Villa hopefully will see the next game. But of course, saying goodbye to the Clash as well. Clash is an operator that sometimes you really just don't want to put up with. I don't know why. Clash is absolutely amazing. I actually asked Noah to put Grissom Queen of Clash on my name today, but he refused because it was too long, so it is a shame. And of course, there we go. F for the Clash ban, as we can see on screen by our lovely producer Noah, which is one thing we actually forgot to talk about before we get into it. We are joined by a production team as always, and that's going to be Noah on production and Two Doors on observation. But it really was an interesting set of bans, and I'm really curious to see how these are going to impact this attacking phase on the offense, because of course getting rid of that Ash ban has opened up a lot of opportunities for Lions Creed, because Ash being a free speed operator, a soft breacher, having that R4C carbine as well, I'd say one of the best guns in this game. You don't usually see an Ash ban, but of course with that Ash being taken off the board, Lions Creed may have, I wouldn't say a big chance, I'd say a lot easier of a time when it comes to hard pushes.
Yeah, well, RCTIC clearly, they want to have a slightly more spread out lineup. They're opting for the Jackal, they've got the Sledge in there you don't see too often, and of course the Nomad on top of that. As I say that though, White straight off the board. Noodle with an aggressive peek, getting a lovely kill for Lions Creed, and they can sit on that man advantage quite comfortably, relatively close to this site. Of course, last time I think I saw RCTIC here was against Shreks and Hobbits, a long time ago in the playoffs. It's been quite a while. We saw them come here to Coastline, and they lost that quite convincingly. I mean, it is Shreks and Hobbits, so that really doesn't say much. Of course, Lions Creed not going up against them, they lost to Free Up Tom in their equivalent match. So, history aside, let's focus on the present. A good early advantage for Lions Creed. That Valkyrie ban, of course, from RCTIC is going to help those attackers to, well, even if they sit closer to the site like they're doing now, that lack of intel potentially could help. As Mozzie can't get those drones outside, Maestro can't put his, well, he could put his Evil Eyes outside, but it'd be a bit risky. They can play a bit more comfortably and not worry too much about those runouts. Of course, Lions Creed, they'll probably do it anyway.
I do agree with you. I think they're also going to do it. But of course, as RCTIC are going to make that push in, it's actually going to be shut down by Vems catching the head of Svinhu. Is that his name? Svinhu, yeah. But
Svinhu, yeah.
It's going to be watched extremely hard by this Tombs, which was that Mozzie. But of course, he's going to get taken out by a Viper. But Voam's going to be having his back, getting that refrag, playing as Malusi. he is going to be set just behind this bar, but of course, if he peeks it, there's going to be NW from RCTIC catching that head with the SMG-11. It's now a 2v2, and of course, with NW's health being extremely low, it's going to be a very hard job for the side of RCTIC with their offense to be able to make this push. Standing outside the Hooker deck, they have a lot of work to do with just so little time, only 50 seconds left on the clock, and with this being watched from every single angle of this point.
Well, it's even tougher now that Kusik falls off the board, all in the hands of NW. I really do enjoy watching NW play. He is very praiseworthy, but right now, he's fallen on the ground all the way off that rappel, and things start off fantastically for Lions Creed. Some nice aggression. Happy birthday to Jaeger as well. You're a little bit late. To be fair, they're only about a week or two off from our birthday, so yeah, good enough.
Oh, it's your birthday soon?
No, it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Should have told me we would have sung happy birthday, but we could always do it on Valentine's Day, right? Having to convince you to be able to cast on me on Valentine's Day, but that round evac, look at this closing headshot there by Noodle playing as Jaeger with that carbine on that rappel. It was a beautiful headshot, and I think
it was
really
pretty nice, wasn't it?
make the side of Lions Creed look really good on their defense side. Of course, with them going 1 round and up for the first round, of course, we still have multiple more to go. We can't get any serious predictions as of yet, but as I did say, I did have my money on Lions Creed taking this game. Yeah, I know you think RCTIC have this one, and of course, me saying Lions Creed.
I
really
never said that.
But
I never said anything.
Well, Lions Creed, just looking at some of their past games, I do think they have more. Well, they've got more rounds, of course, with them being second in the standings, and this team, RCTIC, being actually 4th. There is quite a big difference, but of course, RCTIC is only 1 point behind Lions Creed, which is why this game is very serious. But RCTIC also, let's not forget, they took a forfeit victory against Glitch Tech when they were suspended, so that also got them quite high in the standings with numerous points, whereas the other team, Lions Creed, they have earned their points and managed to get a 2-0 win against PG Tips in their game, and also I think they won 1 game and then drew the other, so a 1-0 win versus Carlstead Kings. When we look at Carlstead Kings, they actually drawn against RCTIC, so just judging by those scores straight away, we can sort of get the idea that Lions Creed have really came out victorious on multiple occasions, whereas RCTIC, they're really struggling. But speaking of struggling, Noodle is going to be struggling a lot as he goes down. By that was going to be Vibe, I believe, but Encryptons is going to have his back and get that refrag on Kusik. That's wiping off their only hard breacher for RCTIC.
Yep, an even man trade. There were so many points I wanted to mention during that speech there, Grissom, and I completely forgot them all. The other thing I was going to mention before all of that, Warden versus Ying. This little battle between Svinu and Chum should be quite interesting in this round. Of course, this is a site where you see Ying come out quite often. It's quite sensible to bring a Warden. It's not too much of a surprise. Of course, Solor has been a key man for Lions Creed recently. A lot of moments to praise him for. He is playing that Legion. He might be sneaking up behind some of these upstairs players. Drones in position for RCTIC, as we can see, to make sure that any pinch from them should not be successful. Vern's currently sneaking his way on past, and he's not been noticed. He certainly has been now, though, as he shoots towards one of the attackers. Deals some damage, but with the MP5 from there, you've got to hit heads.
Heads is what they are hitting, but non-success yet. But speaking of that, Yams is going to get the head on Vippy, but NW is going to catch that refrag on Vems, wiping him off the board as well. So that's also going to be their Malusi down, and their Zofia down. But speaking of another, that is going to be their Smoke also being taken off as Encryptic falls to NW. Some No, actually, those Candelas were going to be thrown in, all three, but it does look like those ADSs from Noodle, who's unfortunately down, did help a ton getting rid of 2 of those Candelas, only leaving 1. But of course, it's going to be a bloodbath going on, as we are going to see the Yin getting taken down. It's going to be Svinu wiped off the board. But also, I missed it, there was one from Lions Creed also getting taken down. It's now a 1v1, and NW's going to be moving in. 8 seconds left, there's not much he can really do apart from fight this.
Oh! I was about to say he could try and get this kill, and he did, but it wasn't enough. With the actual trade coming out at the end, seeing the round in favour of Lions Creed. Very close. Thank you, Toombs. I need to start ignoring them now. I mean, the 2 players we've been praising so far this game, Solor and NW, both being those 2 men at the end, coming out pretty much even, but it's 2-0, not even on the scoreboard. It's so hard to ignore the chat whilst I'm trying to discuss how this game's going. At least I don't have a clash to keep an eye out for, as she is banned out. Penthouse Theatre, strangely enough, Grissom, is the next location.
Penthouse Theatre, I wouldn't say strangely enough, actually. Penthouse and Theatre is my go-to objective.
Oh dear.
Well, yeah, on Coastline, I feel like...
On ranked, yeah.
Well, yeah, on ranked.
In competitive, less so.
I'd actually
I think
say...
people look down on it.
I'd say competitive... I don't play competitive Siege myself. I think I played like 1 face sit and took a devastating loss, which was embarrassing, but...
Did you play Clash?
I actually played Valkyrie and Echo.
Well, that's why you lost.
Well, I'll be sure to make sure to take your advice next time. So I just gotta play Clash for the win, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, it's a shame that it's actually banned this game. What's gonna happen?
It's going to be a draw.
Ah, it's gonna be a draw. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's already decided.
Yeah, if that's what you're saying, no clash. It's gonna be a draw. We'll have to see how it turns out. But of course, it could not be with Lions Creed being 2-0 and up. The predictions being brought up by our wonderful producer Noah.
Ah.
No one thinks it's gonna be a draw.
Well, so 6% and 8%.
Well,
That's
still 6% of the staff is probably currently 1 staff member. So, if 1 staff member thinks it's going to be a draw. Now, while you speak next, I'm actually going to find out who that staff member was who voted for a draw, because I think they're wrong.
You can't out us like that. Alright, well, the round's ticking on by. Interesting selection from Lions Creed again. They've opted for the Vigil this time to be a bit more sneaky on these roams. I mean, they've done a pretty good job of making themselves obvious. Of course, they like that lobby stairs player as well as cool vibes to pinch players upstairs. Slightly different plan here on this particular site, Penthouse. But it's useful to have that Vigil ability. Ooh, Toombs taking a lot of damage in the meantime and finished off by NW at the start. That's underneath down in Kitchen. An early roam from the Ella punished and isolated. The plant's already going down as Noodle picks up 1. Vip gets a refrag. 2 trades coming out at the same time. So it's a 3 versus 2. And the plant is jumped off, not stuck.
They do still have every opportunity. Of course, the diffuser is not in hands, and as we're going to see a hatch drop, it is unfortunate to see that shots going to be flying from underneath by Noodle. Monks was getting hit quite a lot, but he's going to go for the plant. Can he pull this off? Vems is going to be moving into the point to try get this counteract with it, but Vip is going to have his back and wipe him off the board. It is now a 1v3. Noodle playing as Vigil has to be able to pull this back in a 1v3 situation with this post plant. There is Malusi Gems and other things in the point, but it's really not going to be enough to hold off an army, and as we can clearly see, Gusick is going to get that closing frag on Noodle, and that is going to be RCTIC taking the 3rd round and also their 1st round for the map of Coastline.
Well, a great execute from RCTIC sees them to get their 1st round on the board. A lovely shot there from Vip onto Verns. 2 very strong fragging men. Just those 1 or 2 fights going your way can really see a round in one of these teams' favours. Of course, I'm looking at these lineups and there isn't really a weak link across the board. These are some of my favourite players around when I think of ECS. They come to mind, some of these boys. And not just because they're nice to me in the chat. But look at those 6 picks. The direct interaction of the 6 picks secretly. The IQ and the Mozzie both being picked off for the Smoky Boys.
Well, Smoky Boys, that is one thing to call them, but... Tunes...
Well, it's the guys who interact with smoke.
Oh boy. Well, the smoke is being played. Of course, I'm not sure. You see, on that topic of just the operator smoke, actually, I don't really see smoke being that profitable on the map of Coastline. We've seen him being played pretty much every single round now, but he has these canisters, and not once have I actually seen them come into play and be profitable on the side of Alliance Creed. Have you seen it?
Not necessarily as of yet, but certainly here is one of the stronger places where you do want that smoke tucked in drinks, with that propagation through the wall to deny a plant, to push them off at the last moment. We saw it in Contenders Division the other day, Makers up against whoever it was. I've already forgotten, my brain. But we saw some great smoke play there, so not to be doubted too much. The selection, of course, we know Encryptions will do a fantastic job, whoever he's on. He said I should be nice to him today, and you know what? When he got a 1.5 KD throughout the league season last season, good job. Like, he's a good player.
It is very impressive to be able to hold that KD.
That was first of a returning player. He was the top man.
Well, very, very impressive. 1.25, like... I don't even have that.
1.5.
1.5?
Yeah.
I'm currently on 0.2 in casual, so think about him in comp. Holy, but I can't compare myself to some of these players. Some of them, they're just nothing short of outstanding, but speaking of standing, some people will soon not be doing that, as the push is going to be executed by the side of RCTIC, slowly making their way up to Aquarium. It's actually going to be 2 right outside of the point. Of course, Solar is going to be holding this off, and Toombs is going to have area control of the bar area. So, of course, if they're going to even make some sort of attempt to go for this plant, they're soon going to be greeted by Lions Creed on their defense, and the offense is going to have a very difficult time getting down any sort of diffusion plant. But of course, that diffuser is also going to be just in the open, but soon picked up, and actually the Nitro is going to come out by Verns, wiping Sphenu off the board, and that is going to be the Ying, actually, the one thing that Tunes is there to counteract with.
Oh, well, that was a delicious C4 from underneath, and here comes the plant, and there goes the smoke propagation. But as you called out earlier, not useful if you throw it too far, at least, and Kusik is in front, so he plants, nice and free. Now Solor swings round, gets 2 with the MP7 to strike back, and suddenly it's only Fip stuck outside. He gets a lovely headshot onto Verns, but when you're out here, your position's known, your operator's known. It's very hard to deny from here. He makes another kill from that shot, but Solor steps up yet again. A triple for him that round, and Lions Creed pretty convincingly take that one.
Well,
I picked the wrong game to cast.
I suppose you better just admire your fans, you know. You are a famous back, but Lions Creed on their defense, I gotta give it to them. They done really well, but one thing to pinpoint is those glass headshots. What the hell was that? He hit not 1, but 2.
I don't think that's really a highlight.
2.
In terms of this game and how it will play out, as it did not really help the team whatsoever. Being isolated and stuck outside, it works potentially if you've got all those men still alive, but a slightly botched smoke canister. I was ready for Encryptions to be the man to stop that position and then to prove you wrong, but a slight misthrow made that plan an absolute disaster, and missed C4 from Solor made that a bit of a disaster. But they pulled it back, just the aggression inside of Aqua from especially the Bandit that round, making the difference. Saw Lions Creed to a 3-1, and they look fully on top at the moment. Reminder, this is RCTIC's map as well.
Well, actually, I gotta disagree with you just on that one real quickly. I think the glass headshots didn't help the team. Well, I'm talking about the glass headshots. I think that was an incredible play. But yeah, RCTIC's map, they picked it, and it's not really working out well for them at all.
Chris. You're in ranked, right? You're trying to push the site.
Hey,
you're on your
listen,
rank
listen.
game of what's it, and then you're playing with Barn Owl, and you try and make this push happen, and you just fail on the plant execute. You go, Barn Owl, where is he? And you check across because he's not spoken in 5 minutes of the 3-minute round, and he's sitting outside on glass. He goes, oh, I got 1 kill.
I mean, all right. Let's think about it. If there's
It's
not that
100%
person,
not what happened for Arctic. But
if there's
still
not
still
that
a bit of a
person
misplay.
though, like with
Yeah, well,
with
this
that glass,
time he comes out on top. And it's a more impactful kill because he's not the last man. He's actually the first man to get a kill on the board. And it's on to the most influential player in the last round, Solor. No goose for you for the rest of this round as well.
well, he did manage to wipe Solar off, but there is still 4 more from Alliance Creed. Of course, there is still going to be roamers from Alliance Creed on the 2nd floor, so if they're going to try get floor control, going to counteract with the team kill. We hate to see team kills on ECS, especially in the major division, but unfortunately, Monks, I don't think he's going to be having that good time right now, as he's going to be wiped out with that team kill, so they can say goodbye to their Nomad, and you can only bear the pain of having that team kill, but then again, it has just made the defense side for Alliance Creed much, much easier, being able to level out these sides. RCTIC still going to be on this booth and balcony area. I don't see how they're going to actually execute their push. They're in no position to actually go in, because of course, if they make their way in, they're soon going to be greeted by Noodle. And is that also going to be Verns? Or yeah, it's going to be Verns on the top floor, I believe, counteracting with them. But no, it's not actually. He made his way back
Just the
down.
one man. It's just
Just
Noodle
the one
with
man.
the pressure on at the moment. Of course, Verns could come round if necessary, but he is exposed if he's not sure where all of the attackers are. And given the lack of Valkyrie, it's unlikely the Lions Creed know exactly where all of the players on the opposition are. Now, time is ticking on to make this move happen. Lots of utility still in the hands, especially the smoke, and also in the glasses of Warden, in case they want to go for some sort of smoke plant. Of course, no smoke on the board, so that's an irrelevant point. And Toombs takes off another man. It's Kusik. No breaching for you on the ace.
Well, it does look like the frag's going to go into the point, and that's going to be Verns getting knocked. Of course, the revive is still available, but as another frag's going to go in, it is just going to miss him. It does look like NW is going to catch the head of Encryptions. Well, not the head, the body actually, I did miss that one. But of course, losing their smoke, we're going to say goodbye to any of these canisters being thrown. 13 seconds left on the clock, and Vip is going to try and move in, but he's going to go down a lot of health. He's going to try to plant this diffuser, and he might actually pull it off. He's going to catch Verns, and that's going to leave Nuddle, the only one left for Lions Creed. Looking at it, 3 people are still in the point for RCTIC, so Nuddle has to do a lot, but it does look like he's going to catch NW, and that is going to be their Zofia wiped off the board. We do still have Zvin and Vip left in this point, so I have no idea how they're actually going to counteract with this, but I do know actually, as Zvin is going to catch the head of Nuddle, wiping him off the board, and that is going to be another round going to RCTIC.
Well, they're clawing their way back into this one. 2-3 is not bad at all, and a 3-3 at the split would be ideal. Of course, this is a slightly more attacker-sided map in general compared to most, and also with the attacking boosts we've seen across maps, you might expect it to track on coastline. I don't think we've really seen that so far in a lot of plays so far, at least in ECS. Across divisions on coastline. We've seen it a handful of times, and currently it's been quite even in most of the games. No significant indicator that attack has had any specific boost.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Well, I don't think anyone's had any boost at all, of course. Coastline, I wouldn't say it's one of those maps where you can be good or bad at exactly one side. I think you can either be... Well, I think if you're good at coastline, you're good at coastline. There isn't a strong point on it. Offense or defense, of course, I think. You really just have to put all your knowledge to it. And once you've learnt the map knowledge on this map, I do think that is everything you need to know. There is a lot more to it, of course, and this might be the ranked talk, it might not be the comp, but actually I have seen it used quite a lot in competitive. But then again, Ebac, when do we ever see coastline in
5
ECS?
seconds left before insertion.
Because I can tell you firsthand, the chances of getting a coastline
Attackers' objective is
it is very, very low. We always see sort of like, let's see, mainly the... I'm trying to think. What's the maps
pool
I'm
has
thinking
somewhat
of?
stagnated as of late, but you know what? Sometimes you get a little bit of fun, and here we are on nice and sunny coastline. I do enjoy the colours here. It's very bright. It's very lovely, and so is this push from the attackers because they got one kill, and they're already planting within 30 seconds of the round. NW just needs to make enough of a distraction, and he gets the kill as well. 4-2 now for the attackers with that double from NW on top of the plant going down. It's fantastic. Speaking of down, Monks currently in a position it's going to be tough to revive, but they managed to get it off as Noodle is too far away. Legion strikes back. It's Verns entering from kitchen side. His teammate Noodle on the opposite over by bathroom to try and pinch towards this diffuser. They only have a few seconds to execute a play. And they execute a man. It's now a 2 versus 2. There's still a lot to do from here. One has to stick, one has to kill. Here comes Noodle to try and cover Verns on the diffuser. But the nade should finish him off. It does. And it's only Noodle left. Time has gone. It's all for clout at this point. And RCTIC take it all with the final kill. That nade very well placed to seal the fate. Keeping that in hand at the end of the round. A fantastic execute from RCTIC. They decided this game has been relatively slow. We've been relatively slow on our attacks so far. They'll never expect a rush service plant, especially without a Ying or any smokes. Just fantastic execution at the switch. It's 3-3.
Well, with that score being 3-3, we will be advancing over to the second split of this game. Of course, one thing to really point out is that RCTIC have planted 4 out of 6 of their rounds on offense, and of course, that is really impressive, being able to get in there as fast as you can, go for this plant, turn it into a post-plant situation, only 40 seconds remaining on the clock for that situation. It really puts Lions Creed in a very difficult situation. They would really have to put a lot of effort and a lot of work into be able to wiping out the rest of RCTIC, and of course getting that defuse in the limited time they have left. So doing that on their offense has really helped them be able to get it up to 3-3. Of course, on one of those, or multiple of those actually, they haven't been able to win those rounds, but on the rounds that they did get it, that is very impressive and something we love to see on ECS. But going into the second split now, we will be seeing Lions Creed switching over to their offense and RCTIC going over to their defense.
Lions Creed, an interesting lineup to say the least. We saw an attempt of this. I really need to remember. I don't know where I put my notes from the other day with whoever was playing against Makers. Unfortunate. Whoever it was, I'm sorry. But they did bring out the Dockerby. We saw a bit of Jackal. We saw a bit of Lion as well. A similar echo to that. Lions Creed, hopefully more successful. They can really clear out these roamers. Not just clear them out, maybe just identify where they are, lock them down as well. There's so many options with this very versatile lineup in terms of clearing out any of these players. When it comes down to pushing the site and making the move happen, that's where the frags and the smoke for the Jackal and the Dockerby will really come into use. So very versatile operators, and here we go. They're getting to work already.
Well, they're already just spreading out across this top floor. We've seen no major pushes, but the Jackal using his Jackal Eye to be able to get some of these footprint scans have really helped the offense side. I wouldn't say in any kills yet, but of course on this location, it's helped quite a bit. And of course, we did see a bit of damage actually go in from the Jackal over to Savinu, who lost just a tiny bit of health, I'd say around 10 there. And I think that Jackal Eye did help a lot, which really teaches him a lesson not to roam. But the push still not yet being executed, just taking floor control and standing outside these windows. I haven't seen anything yet at all. Phones are going to be called as the logic bomb goes out by Solar playing as Dokkaebi. This has really given away a lot of position and is going to help the offense side a lot. As Lions Creed, there is going to be some people from below. Don't think they're going to act on it. No, it's just going to be watching some of these points, waiting for any sudden movement on the floors that we have open, as we can see Tumes watching this very hard.
It's a bit odd to see a roaming Rook not necessarily something you expect. You don't see Rook too often either, so that's quite a nice one for Arctic. Of course, having if you want to bring the Kali, given the new changes, Rook is really useful. And if you are going to bring out a Kali, potentially here, Kusik, you can see he's keeping an eye out just in case there might be one off in the distance. But those nades are going to be his main trouble. He takes quite a bit of damage from that one from Solar, who has now used up his final one. Still one logic bomb remaining, but only 30 seconds. So it's going to be absolute pandemonium going into this plant. No smoke on the board, but potentially still a C4 in the hands of Monks, and he does have one indeed. First kill comes off for the attackers as the plant is being stuck. Kusik falling, and Svinu, and NW, a triple for Lion's Creed as the plant is stuck. That C4 of no use from Monks, and VIP now striking back with a double.
Well, it is now a post-plant situation with the diffuser being planted. 40 seconds left. There is going to be a 2v3 situation going on, and it just looks like Monk and Vippy are just going to be rotating and trying to get some visual on some of the offense operators. Not sure how this is actually going to go. Of course, with Monks using his SMG-11, Vaughn's just going to be watching this, though, from his outside balcony. Encryption's going to catch the head of Monks, and that's going to leave Vippy, the lonesome Rook, all by himself. He's going to go for this run-out. Pretty stupid, exposing his location, but also getting anyone on that rappel. Unfortunately for him, there wasn't, but he's going to catch two, but the time runs out. Lion's Creed is going to take that round, and that is going to be their first offense round on this split, but of course it's going to be making the score 4-3. Really, really devastating for the side of Arctic.
A fantastic couple of seconds there from Lion's Creed. The triple and the plant being stuck. Really unfortunate for the defense, and very unfortunate for VIP as well, because he got a 4K that round and lost, which is a bit of a shame. You never like that. Of course, multiple of them in vain, and also you called him stupid. So a double whammy there for VIP.
I apologize a bit. I was sort of... That might have been a little... tiny bit rude. I do apologize. But, well, I wouldn't exactly say...
Don't worry, I'm sure he's a horrible person. Shout out to you, VIP.
Oh, wow. Okay. What a way to make me look bad. But, of course, I didn't think the run-out was the smartest thing to do. Exposing his location. But anyone on that rappel... It's round 8. It is. Let's stop speaking about that. Thank you for the save. But going into this next round, we're gonna see the Maestro coming back into play with these Evil Eyes being... Sorry, let me rephrase that. The Maestro is coming into play. He has not been seen yet this game with these Evil Eyes, which is really going to be helpful on the defense side of Arctic. Of course, setting up these Evil Eyes around the map gonna give them a massive bit of help with some of the, well, identification and visualization on the offense side, and a big bit of intel is exactly what the side of Arctic need to be able to alert in the last situation, Vippy maybe, alerting him on where some of the offense operators are, and this will really help a lot.
Yeah, the BBIs should not be underrated. The big bits of intel. That's what these teams are really here for. I'm 100% using that in future.
Definitely.
Well, Verns, he's used potentially some BBIs with those Inox to get the first kill, and it's on to NW. A very good start for the Jackal. His job is to clear those roamers, and he's done a pretty good job at the start. So many players sitting downstairs on this defense, and 2 of them falling so far. Kusik, the only player remaining downstairs, his position is known, thanks to some strong droning play. Lion's Creed looking electric at the start of their attacking play.
Electric is definitely what they did, and hopefully they can make the rest of this round even more of it, as just over 100 seconds are going to be remaining on the clock, and there is going to be still only 3 left on the defense side of Arctic. The time is ticking, and of course Lion's Creed... just going as the time goes by, but a lot of shots are going to be going out, and here we see it. Evil Eyes are going to be coming into play, giving away quite a lot of intel on their side.
1 minute 10 remaining for the attackers to make the move. And with the strong man advantage, we saw them with 30 seconds left execute fantastically in a 5 versus 5. And with this strong advantage, you would not really doubt now is the time for Arctic to step up. If they lose this, the game looks very different. And losing lives, Monks, the first man to fall on this execution attempt. Vip goes for the same aggressive peek as last time. You know what? This time, it's warranted. It's stupid. And there is the round lost. Lion's Creed with the flawless to finish it off.
Well, there we have it. Lion's Creed taking yet another as we advance over to round 9. They're going to be 5-3, only 1 round away from this overtime mark. And of course, Ebek having that overtime bear on your shoulders, it's not a weight you want to bear. It's really going to put the Lion's Creed in a...
to finish it off.
Well, see here, making his way in with the SMG-11, getting those shots, nothing short of impressive indeed. And I don't really see anything new on the board. Usually I'll be like, oh look, it's a Jackal, but we've already seen the boring old Jackal. I mean, there's a Mozzie coming into play, but I think we've already seen a Mozzie so far this game. But on the side of RCTIC, I don't think we've seen it yet, so seeing this Mozzie coming into play may have quite a lot of intel advantages for the side of RCTIC, and seeing Viper swap off that Maestro onto the Malusi, cough cough doing what he's good at. I'm joking, I'm sorry Vippy, but seeing Monks play this Mozzie may really have a big advantage for the side of RCTIC, but Lion's Creed losing their intel is not going to be something you would like to see.
Well, the potential for denial of intel is certainly useful, and getting a bit back themselves. Of course, I like to argue that those Banshees are generally quite intel-based, in the same way that a Rooney Gates, once they come in, tend to give away an attacking move. Just a little bit of a warning before anyone moves through a particular position. And with the lack of Ash on the board, it's going to be the responsibility of the nades from the Sledge or Zofia, and there's not too much necessarily to deal with those, so that Ash ban could prove very, very strong for the team banning her out Arctic now that they're on their defense.
Well, time is ticking, but they have got a lot of it on their favor. Lions Creed have every opportunity to go in, but Solar's going to do the drone work into the penthouse, but is soon going to be very smart about it. Sees that sensor from the Mozzie dart and is just going to remove his drone from that situation, sending them in from different angles now, still in this penthouse. They do have
the
a lot of
Mozzie dart. Is that why he says bullseye?
Well, I call it a Mozzie dart, and
Cool.
of course they do say bullseye whenever they catch a drone, so
Yeah.
that is one way to put it.
Pretty
But
fair. I like that.
the floor control that RCTIC actually have right now, I'm loving to see it. Of course, it's only one lonesome operator from RCTIC holding this, but one is all you realistically need. Actually, I am wrong. Vippy is going to have his back, and if they even try to make this move in through penthouse, then they're going to have a lot of hell water to deal with. It's really something they don't want to have to put up with, and seeing Svinu also watch from the beneath, this is going to be a major impact.
Kusik's getting pelted down there. Nade stuns everywhere, and he's finished off alongside almost the entire rest of his team. There's only 2 remaining. At the end, it's a 5 versus 2 with a minute left on the clock. So quick from Lion's Creed. They are rapid at getting triple kills to take it from a 5-all position. Svinu, he's shaking his head. He can't believe it. He's looking up through these vertical angles. Still 3 smoke canisters to potentially delay some angles. NW going to play it a bit of a risky move to stay away from his teammate, but he's going to try and be the man on the outside. Currently, he's dead, so that's not going to help very much, and it's a 1 versus 5 or nothing for Svin, who nothing is the option he goes for. I don't think he chose it, Lion's Creed, instead making sure he doesn't have the choice whatsoever. It's compulsory that you lose this round. Lion's Creed move to match point.
Well, that is the weight that no team wants to have to bear with that match point, and of course no overtime. that has made it impossible for the side of RCTIC to be able to win this game. Of course, there is always the map of Villa, which we will be heading to next, but for now, it will be either a draw if RCTIC are able to pull this all the way 3 rounds up, or if Alliance Creed are able to take one of these next 2 rounds and make this a 7-3 victory. Of course, it can go any way they want it to, but it's all down to how they play now. Ying coming back into the pool, but soon to be on the 6th pick. What are they going to switch to is going to be the Iana. Something we rarely see, well, I rarely see in any competitive league is going to be the Iana. The Gemini replicator that is used is a huge help on the intel side of Alliance Creed. It is basically a second life, in my opinion, although you cannot shoot or do
You say
any
you rarely see her?
I rarely see Iana, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of other casters see it, but I rarely see Iana.
That's weird. I see her virtually every game, especially Lions Creed. They really do enjoy the Iana.
Well, compared to some of the operators like Nomads, I only see Iana. I think I've...
Two Doors is speaking on my behalf. Of course, that is exactly what I would say anyway, so that's fine.
Already saying, speaking on your behalf, like, very polite of him. But yeah, this Iana, I rarely see them in any comp. Of course, I know that it's not uncommon. A lot of other casters see it, but I have rarely see any.
Well, what do you want to see now that the Iana has been picked by Noodle? What can he do to impress you?
I want to see these Gemini replicators coming out and providing a lot of intel on the side of Alliance Creed. Of course, them being only 1 round from winning, this could be their big finale, and being able to take this 7-3, sending the replicator into the area. But of course, we do have Cusick playing as mute. This is going to be a major issue on the side of Alliance Creed, sending the Gemini replicator in already. We are about to find out what exactly this can do, but going down the corridor, Vip's going to soon take the Gemini replicator out, and that is alerting the rest of Alliance Creed that we are going to have some campers in the theater area and on that corridor. Vern's going to catch ahead of NW, that's going to be wiping them a Lucy off the board, but those jammers being already down, that is going to have a big, I wouldn't say advantage, I'd say a player advantage, but with his gems being already down, no utility lost on the side of RCTIC.
Yeah, it's going to be very useful to get that BBI in this round. Encryption's now going for a breach. I don't know if that jammer on the particular theatre wall has been dealt with. At least the ADSs haven't. It's going to be quite tricky to get that open. Even if they do push Cusick out, they've got to resist. This is the job here for Vip and Cusick. Delay as much as possible. Even if you fall here, just delay. So it's a late rush from Lions Creed with as few men as possible. They've already got a man disadvantage. They don't want to lose any more than they have to.
Well, they may actually lose one, and they do, as Vern's going to catch the head of Vippy, and he's going to catch another. That's going to be a triple kill on the board. Monks is going to be wiped off for RCTIC. Cusick and Vin being the only ones left on their defense side. Of course, with 5 left for Lions Creed, it is not looking good at all, but Solar is going to catch a reflag on Cusick just before he caught that kill on Encryptions, and that is going to be Vern's getting rid of Vin. And round 1... Game 1, sorry, is going to be going to the side of Lions Creed.
Deary me. Lions Creed clearly enjoying themselves, and I'm enjoying watching them. That was quite a pleasure. That was a fantastic round from Verns, in particular, getting a quad that round as well. Ebac Creed. Now, I think I've already been dibsed by PG Tips, as they were using my face for their logo in the other. It's a nightmare. So many teams have. I think Jaegers have dibs on me as well for various reasons. So this is going to be really awkward towards the end of this season.
Well, if any team wants to use my face as their logo, believe me, I'm open. But I do think that you are the favourite in ECS eBack.
I mean, the vote didn't agree. The whole tournament thing that was on Twitter.
Oh, what round did you get wiped out?
I was only in like 2 of them.
Ah, you made it further than me. But that game...
The most popular is Kenny, I think, isn't it?
Was it Whippet or Kenny? They were
thought it
both
was Kenny.
finalists. It was Kenny, okay.
It was
Kenny won the finals. There we go. The producer has confirmed. And there we go! As we can see. Well, Grissom, Queen of Clash, going to be on the board. But it was a shame we weren't able to see Clash last game. But speaking of last game, it was an incredible first half of this series so far. Of course, looking at it with it being 3-3 going on to the first split, that after that 6 rounds is when you get a real picture of how the game is going to go. But switching over when Lions Creed went on their offense side, that had a major change in the way things went. And they went 4 rounds in a row, of course, being able to take it.
What are you giggling about there?
Are you giggling about what?
Doesn't
I've lost
matter.
it.
Anyway,
matter.
ladies and gents, we'll be back for Villa in a few minutes. Stick around. It's going to be great. I'm hoping we can see a nice, good RCTIC comeback because they showed promise there, didn't quite deliver on a few of those rounds. I think starting out on Villa, just get a few rounds under their belts, I think they could definitely compete, at least go for that draw. We'll see you in a few, ladies and gents.
That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging.
I muted. I did a full-on two doors, but even worse than me, Grissom right now. He didn't even show up.
Let's not
There
talk
he
about
is.
that. I walked in my room, seen that the screen was on, and well, thank you, production, for waiting for me. Yeah, welcome back. Apparently I left a long time ago, so yeah, it looks like again. Okay, yeah, welcome back to ECS. I'm not sure how far did you go, Ebek?
I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
But we've gone quite a long way. We've gone all the way from Spain to the lovely hills of Tuscany in Italy.
Well, Villa it is. Villa being a very interesting map indeed, and a very beautiful one, may I add. I would love to spend a holiday or two here, but we are going to be here for our second map of... I've just noticed we don't actually have Arctic and Lions Creed. We have the blue team and orange team today.
Well, you know what? I like the rebrand.
Ooh,
They were going for EBAC Creed, but they ended up with Orange Team. You know, it suits them quite well. Anyway, Blue Team will be banning out Hibana first. It's not too much of a surprise. She is very, very useful in getting study open on those AVG attacks. Laundry as well, I can think, on dining. There are quite a few walls around that you don't want Hibana on because she's tough to trick against. Mira, often an operator that you could bring out as a potential counter. Not an option either from Arctic. So some very sensible bans, if a little dull. No Nomad off the board, so we've got her in play as well. She's very influential here in particular. And I think Orange Team are just playing with me today. I think they're being overly nice to me, and then they're banning Clash every single time.
I just need to double check. Is the blue team definitely Arctic? If we can maybe pull up the leaderboard quickly. Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is.
Blue team is definitely
Arctic.
It's
quite coordinated because Arctic
have
a blue emblem and Lions Creed are kind of orangey, so
yeah,
it's pretty fair.
Okay, well, that's interesting, and Siege's fault. It is not our predictions team fault, just to clarify. But, of course, going into it, we did see the Clash ban and also the Mirror ban. The Mirror ban is something which we see quite a lot on the map of Clubhouse in Oregon. But on Villa, I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised that they've been left out, actually. But of course, going into it, I'm really, I won't say excited.
You won't say excited.
I wouldn't say excited, though, because it's Villa, you know, it's... I'm not sure what it is.
What are you, a man or a mouse?
I am a mouse.
Okay. Well, I'm an excited man. So I guess that we've got the whole spectrum here, ladies and gents.
Indeed. But...
on a scale of excited man to mouse, how 3 are you?
So, 1 being... Oh, look at this.
This is the best production I've ever seen. I don't know what Solar's doing with that black eye and the C4. Amazing work, amazing job. I'm speechless. That is fantastic. Great job, Noah.
Absolutely incredible. This is what 10 out of 10 production is. So now we do have Lions Creed.
No, you better have this on your freaking roll. On your highlight reel.
What, this 10 out of 10 production?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rinsing the producers now. It's not their fault. It's Ubisoft's fault. There was a reset in between the game for some reason, which caused this to happen. But going into it, I'm actually curious to see how this push is going, because it's already started while we were blabbering away about this amazing production. But it is going to be the IQ already in the statue room, the Blackbeard, who has actually not been banned this time. I did think they may have been removed from the pool, as I always see Blackbeard banned on the map of Villa. But that push is slowly but surely happening, but soon be met by Toombs, who is camping this 90 corridor. I'm not really sure where this is going to go at all. The Evil Eye camera is going to come out, getting some intel on some people down at 90. But of course, only time can really tell what this round will bring.
Pretty typical push from Blue Team, as they are still called at the moment. We'll wait and see if Arctic shows up. For now, they are Blue Team. They've taken across pretty typically from the north side. They've got the Nomad to lock down their flanks, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, at least at the moment. Doesn't seem like there's too much presence on that side of the map from the defense. The main problem is going to be making this push happen, as so many players are still alive inside of the site with a lot of utility in hand. That Warden being a favoured pick across the map today, especially from Lions Creed. They brought him out quite a bit. and he can be crucial when it comes to trying to smoke plant, especially inside of AVG. A Warden well placed inside of there can really punish you.
Indeed it can, and as we have witnessed, it is going to be NW punishing Bones there, catching that frag, but Noodle going to get the refrag on Monks, and that is going to be leveling this out to 4-4. Gunshots are flying, and Selma charges are going down. It does look like we're going to be opening up that wall,
That was
but
clever.
also opening up the head of NW.
Drop the diffuser.
Well, the plant was not... Was that stuck? I couldn't tell. It was a flurry of kills from VIP. He gets a whole bunch, and it leaves only encryptions remaining. The diffuser was not planted, but it doesn't matter, because Svinhu spins on the final match. That's quite a tough one to say. Svinhu spins on the Maestro and seals the first round for the attackers of RCTIC. Now, that was quite a strong execute. Yeah, that Lion's Creed doesn't quite fit with the rest of the game when it's not in the round. That is the one drawback to this setup.
It is indeed. Well, yeah, it's a shame, but of course, there's nothing we can really do about it. Looking at it, the Warden's coming into play, and also the Maestro as well. Now, this isn't really anything special, but for me, a Warden and a Maestro is the dream team. It's not really
Attackers need to locate and
a
defuse
strat, of course, but it's something we like to see. I see it quite a lot in comp being played. Let me rephrase that, actually. I see it rarely being played, but when it is played amazingly, and I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah, make sure you get the attacker and defender emblems in there. No, that'll be nice and useful as well. Great job. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This is awesome. Some fantastic invention, not just from Noah, but from RCTIC as well on their attacks. A pretty typical take, but it's tough to execute that well. And the Blackbeard, as you were saying, relatively typical ban. Not banned out. They're going to take advantage of it and really use him to the best of his ability. Svinhu getting a lovely double that round to help them out, especially that key one at the death.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Well, death is not something we like to see at all, but of course we don't. This is huge. Death is... What's the quote I have on my little list? Death is not the greatest loss in life, but losing a round is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wise words of... Was it Whip It?
No, actually. It was Wise Words of the Internet. I found that one. It was Whippet's quote, which is, even death is not feared by the one who has lived wisely. But I did steal that one for it as well. But of course, Vip is going to be stood in the statue room, slowly making this push, and also Kusik. We're seeing the Ashe being brought into play this game, which is something I'm really, really excited to see, considering we went a whole map without Ashe doing that target ban. I think helped the side of Lion's Creed on the last map quite a lot, with their offense and defense as well, not having that Ashe involved. They never prepared for it, but of course, it's being brought into play this time, and something we really love to see. Noodle holding off this aviator room, waiting for any sign of sudden movement, and I'm really, really excited to see if Veep is going to do any predatory and hostile behavior to be able to basically counteract with him and maybe make this push. If he does it, it'll be very risky, but it is something he can maybe expand to. But Noodle's going to be rotating. He does it, he catches two. That's going to be Monks, and Kusik wiped off the board. That was a double, nearly a collat. Oh my god, and Veep is going to be pretty much left on his own in this situation.
Such a huge sit from Lion's Creed, a very particular strategy. It's a massive turtle, some would call it a tortoise. And it's worked out pretty well for them. Noodle sitting inside of the site, you don't necessarily expect that from the Jaeger, but he gets a double, and Solo joins in. He gets one himself onto Vip, leaving only two remaining. It's NW and Svinhu, Ace and Blackbeard apiece.
Well, it is a 2v5. RCTIC only having NW and Svin left on their side. And of course, as the round is closing in on them, they're going to have to grab this diffuser and make their way slowly. But Sfin is not going to stop there. He's going to catch the head of Solar, and that is going to be them. Lucy wiped off the board. They do still have every opportunity to pull this back. Of course, with only 20 seconds remaining on the clock, Vend is going to catch the head of NW, and that chance has just turned very low. They're not going to stop there, though. Sfin is going to continue trying. Gets hit by that flashbang of his, and that's going to blind him for a good couple of seconds. And Vend is going to finish out this round by catching that shot on Sfin, and that is really going to close out that round in favor of, I believe that's going, yeah, it's Lions Creed round. I had to double check that because the team's not showing.
You're welcome, Tubes. No problem. You know what? I won them that round because I wanted to see it nice and even. Both of these teams have shown a bit of promise. Of course, RCTIC a bit lackluster on that execute. They have a good amount of operators, I think, with that particular push to do a roam clear, quite a comprehensive one. But when there wasn't one, and they had to make that move in, they didn't have enough specific operators, I think, to help them necessarily with the execute, especially when you lose two men standing outside on landing to one single Jaeger in Aviator. Bit of a misplay. Unfortunate from them, and the site is also going to move along. As Lions Creed have won out that one. Where are they moving now? It's Trophy and Statuary.
Well, this site, I'd say, as always, is probably the second go-to, as you do normally start off in games room and Aviator and then rotate over here, because you never like to be on an objective on the first floor, because that is automatically giving the offense side a top floor advantage. And of course, opening up that top floor is going to give them every single opportunity in the world, which you really do not want to happen. So going to the second floor is your second go-to after winning the rounds on Games Room and Aviator. It's a no-brainer, to be completely honest, and then playing this out, I'm really curious to see how this change of site is going to impact their work. The Cade is being brought into play, and electrocloring this. Are they going to go for a double electroclore? I'm curious on what they're actually going to do. He can catch all three with just one electroclore, but if he's going to double it, that is completely his choice. We don't have a Twitch, but we do have a Book who can go underneath and get rid of this Cade Claw very easily. I'm not really sure if he is going to play it like that, though. And also, with actually Ritrick, I keep calling him Ritrick, RCTIC playing on this map before and taking a 7-4 win, we could actually be seeing history repeat itself, because this was against Karlstad Kings, the team at which Lions Creed did do very well against. So, very curious to see whether history is going to repeat itself or if time can change.
There's some comparisons with Karlstad King. I think that particular match, Karlstad Kings always brought it pretty close. They lost one of the maps, I believe, 7-3, but that did them they didn't really do them justice. That game was a lot closer than the scoreboard may leave it to seem. That draw certainly deserved for them. So Karlstad Kings, I can't recall who it was. It was Kenny, I believe, who said that they are probably the team you don't want to come up against. NW, in the meantime, first man to fall. That is a huge issue. You're talking about the Buck being able to open up underneath to help get that wall open. Of course, now Maverick is the only option for Hard Breach. He's just going to have to make a little hole himself. And currently, he's clearing across from the south side with a Jaeger behind him. Oh, he's gone round the roof. He's left. Oh, no, that's no... I thought that was him on the roof. No, that's Buck. Oh, God, Buck and Mav look so similar through the map. He gets the kill anyway. It's Cusick.
Well, some slight adjustments to their push, and I just see them slowly moving their way in from the first floor. Now, floor control is a very big thing, obviously, with Siege, but going down and up isn't something I ever see on this map. Of course, with only two being down there, it's not really that merchant Sfinu doing the drone work on the second floor just with them, then it can be good. But actually, the cooking frag, this could be big if he positioned this correctly, but unfortunately he does not, and is not able to wipe out anyone just yet. We can hear the smoke canisters being placed down in that other side, and then it's going to be Solar catching Sfinu, wiping him off the board as well. Actually, this early into the round, we're going to be seeing a plant. This could turn into a post plant, and just with 1 second remaining, it does. It is now going to be a post plant situation. 45 seconds left on the clock, and Monks is going to catch Encrypts. Vibe's going to catch another. That's going to be Vern's wiped off the board, but Tune's getting the revolver refrag. That's going to be Monks wiped off the board as well.
Wow, the board is very, very clean, and it's a 1 versus 1. It's going to have to be clean from Toombs. He finishes off Cusick. and it's only Vip remaining. He's going for the hard stick, potentially, waiting for the sound cue. He knows the Maverick's there. It's so risky. He has very little time. So tense here. Toombs goes aggressive, and he gets the kill! Finishes off Vip, and it's the round from Lion's Creed out of nowhere. Wow. I did not see that coming a few seconds prior.
Neither did I. Holy moly. Toombs, let me guess, in a second he'll tell you he won that round for you probably, but I am shocked after that one. Toombs, I thought, had no chance of being able to pull that back, and with the TCSG as well. You see, as we see in the chat, I improved, right?
There it is.
eBack giving you the power to clutch. Well, the eBack look is something we can never get rid of. It's with you for life. But with the TCSG, like the TCSG getting buffed quite a few seasons ago, or was it a nerf?
It was actually a nerf.
It was a nerf, yeah. It was a different gun that got the buff. It's not really been good ever since. I used to main Kaid and Goyo just because of that TCSG, a rapid fire shotgun, long range, and also incredible damage. What more could you want? But as soon as that damage got decreased, it's really not a good weapon anymore. I'm playing Kaid with that TCSG. I rarely see the TCSG being played anymore, actually, in comp. It used to be one of the most hottest weapons you would ever see, and I'd always used to call out, oh look, it's a TCSG, better be clear, because the long-range shotgun is here. I'm not gonna lie, I made that one up off the top of my head, but Noah, make sure to add a pun to my score, please. But setting up the site, going downstairs. It is concerning considering that site upstairs has opened up, but why have they gone downstairs?
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Are you confused, or are you setting me up to say why?
I'm setting you up.
Okay.
I'm confused and setting you up to answer my question.
Well, it's a pretty strong site, and they've got some pretty strong operators to do that. It's a good mix-up. We see a lot of teams go for different strategies, a lot of teams opting to hold upstairs with a castle. This time around, opting to stay relatively low down with a lot of C4s in hand instead. That Pulse is going to be the most key operator because he has the BBI, the big bit of intel with that scanner.
Well, there you go. There's another pun added for you, but they're all coming out tonight.
Did I say
But
something?
actually, yeah, BBI, I love that. That's a good,
Oh, right.
that's a good pun. Yeah. Well, Nudie is going to get that opening frag, and that's going to be him wiping Spheno off the board, and Nitros are going to go out in that spirit, and also frags as well, but not able to do good at all, apart from really just create a distraction for whatever they want to do. Buck Shotgun is going to be coming out, trying to open up some of this floor, but Toombs is actually going to get a team kill on Kryptons, and that is not something we like to see at all. Nitro is going to be thrown on the top floor, but unfortunately, it does not look like it's going to be set off, of course, mainly because they backed up, so a very wise choice not to escalate it any further. The Nitro is still on the ceiling. He is going to blow it up, but doesn't manage to hit anyone just yet. Kusik at half HP. It's really not looking good for him in his position where he is. Of course, with that low health and one frag remaining, he really is not that much use unless he can rank up some of these kills soon. Still a 4v4, and with one off the board for each side, they need to do something in the time they have left, just bearing down to that minute mark, and still with multiple intel operators on the side of Lion's Creed. They haven't really used it that well, pretty much at all, really.
Yeah, well, this is one of those sites where a very late push is quite common, even with quite a few men remaining on the defense. You never want to. You never... It's not great. You want a few more early entry frags, and the 4-4 is not ideal at all. Especially Vern sneaking up behind, but Toombs is going to get the kill up through the vertical angles, potentially. Or was that on Pantry stairs? I'm not sure exactly where that was. Two players still remaining inside of Pantry. It's the Nomad and the Ace NW and Monks. Vip is the first man to fall to the UMP, and NW strikes back with a double. 2-2 is the score with 20 seconds left.
Time is ticking, and it is not in RCTIC's favor. Neither is the man advantage, but Nudie is going to make that worse as he's going to catch an NW, but Vuz is going to catch another on Monks, and that is going to be Lions Creed taking that round for them, being very greedy with the rounds, actually, as they are slowly leveling their way up through it.
Lions Greed.
Lions Creed. That's what I said.
No, Lions Greed.
Oh, Lions. There's another one on the board for you. I see her going out with it tonight. But RCTIC, they really need to do something soon. And I'm curious to see how RCTIC are going to push this back, because on the last map it did go 1 and 3, and then what happened, Ebac, it was RCTIC pushing their way up to make it 3-3, and after that for Lions Creed it was only up from there, leveling out to 7-3 when they switched to their offense. So will history repeat itself, or will something change?
Attackers need to locate and defuse many
Well,
bombs.
what's an interesting place to talk about history? Villa has so much history. In it, there's models, there's planes, there's lovely expensive artwork, and I mean, there are rugs. Look at all those rugs. It's absolutely fantastic. There's so many of them, and of many different varieties.
Bomb located
It
by
really is, but with a history Villa, do you expect to see a mini bar that they have in there? Like, come on. We can see in the site they're in, they have a whole mini bar, but they do have some war ground reenactments. It's a beautiful map. We can't really talk bad about it. Everyone loves a bit of Villa, and it is a shame that it is not as played as much, but with, of course, Oregon and Clubhouse being the absolute favourites, thank God we didn't have any of them today. It's really nice to see a little bit of a change, but with the round just commencing, we will be seeing the push being executed and preparing for their strike. Vippy playing as that Ash again, hopefully going to be able to catch some of these new kills. And we're also going to be seeing the IQ come back out by Kusik. He is really going to help the side of RCTIC being able to call out where some of these evil eyes are, and also these Malusi jammers. So really, that is going to give a lot of intel and help RCTIC avoid where not to go.
Of course, this is the only site that RCTIC have won so far on their attack, so they certainly know how to do it. The difference maker last time, I think, was Noodle, with that double kill inside of AVG, deciding to go for that tortoise strategy, as I so named it. This time he's outside, he's over by Red at the moment, running around, so he could potentially catch off one of these players, as the roaming presence from Lions Creed has been rather minimal. It could catch off RCTIC if they are not careful. They're currently quite spread. Ooh, but it's Noodle, the man himself, to take the most damage from that early engagement. Just about hanging on downstairs. He has no support. Vip taking a lot of damage from a C4, chucked out the AVG door by Solor, giving his position away behind Model.
Well, with the time ticking, 90 seconds remaining on the clock, it is still going to be all players left. Noodle has still got just under actually 25 HP, which is going to be a major concern for the side of Lions Creed. But he's not going to be scared, still watching this tight angle. Soul are going to catch the head on NW, and that is going to be their hard breacher wiped off the board, so they can say goodbye to getting into any of these hard walls which they may have. And on this site, they have a lot of them, but Solar is going to be popping off right now with a double, catching Monks. And can he get any more as the time ticks on? Just under 55 seconds, and the drone work's going to go into the site, not catching any intel at all, but little do they know and now aware, and it is going to be a shutdown from Vippy, catching the head of Solar.
It's a great start to the execute, but it's not gone it's gone poorly. It's not gone as smoothly from this point. It's a 2 versus 4, and still roaming players around. Noodle underneath on Red. Surely his position known by Svenu, staring towards his head. Noodle doesn't seem quite aware. He's a bit more preoccupied with the player underneath. And now he knows the one is above, so he takes that fight, wins it. Only one player remaining. Vip, can he win that as well? 10 seconds just to pad their stats around. Surely one. Noodle coming out on top yet again. Lions Creed take it to 4-1, and they have improved on their 3-all score from Coastline with a 4-1. Can they push it to 5 on their defense?
I think they may have some sort of chance with that.
Yeah.
Probably. it is still round 6, so we haven't got that switch just yet. Of course, on the last round of it, switching onto it next to go onto their offense. I do hope that they are able to do some sort of, curious on how to put this, some sort of hard push on their offense to be able to close out the rounds, and of course on their defense, maybe just play this very passively. One thing I have been seeing a lot of teams do on Villa is play very passively as the rounds start. They go very slow until they get that player advantage and take out maybe 2 from the offense team, and then as soon as they've done that, they play very aggressive, watch angles of corridors that don't need to be watched, and hoping to be able to catch some of the offense heads. Maybe if they had to do this for this last round, it might help them a little bit. Not sure whether they're going to actually do that though. Going back to the side of Trophy Room and Statuary. Well, back here, it did work very well in their favor last time, so maybe it can work very well again.
10 seconds left.
I think Arctic, one of the main problems they've had so far in this game, consistently losing hard breach. Just losing it too early, too often. It's a bit unfortunate for them. They're not managing to get these angles open. I recall debating here last time as to what that Kaid is going to do on the wall and how it's going to work out.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Apparently Noodle's eating something. Currently he's just eating up his opposition. He's getting so many kills. A really key man today for Lions Creed. They've really struggled to stop him, Arctic.
Well, they will struggle indeed, with Noodle being a very high top fragger. But speaking of which, it's like they almost heard us eat back. Noodle's going to be off the board for this round, and Arctic are going to have that man advantage straight away. With that Jaeger being wiped off, those ADS is already going to be down. That has helped them quite a lot, but not too much utility you lost on the side of Lions Creed. They're not going to give up there, though. Arctic is still going to be continuing their push, trying to at least get some more kills before they fall back a little bit and maybe rethink their push. But Verns is going to be watching this from the Statuary Room, and he's going to have some support by his teammates, making sure they have no point of entrance. I do not think that anyone is actually watching Astronomy. Of course, we do have the 2 people watching each site, but if they are to actually go through Astronomy right now, this might be a play and a half for them. Never mind, Toombs is going to be watching Astronomy.
Yeah, Lions Creed quite sensibly spread across the sites with their man disadvantage. Of course, they've got a lot of utility, those 2 C4s, smoke canisters, the goo mines also still in position, and some still in pocket. Time ticking on. He's getting more and more. And of course, Verns, not just utility, his gun skill. Every time I've said someone's good with their gun on Lions Creed, they've died.
Indeed, they have. Verns getting wiped off the board. It is a shame, rest in peace, but that leaves only 3 left for Lions Creed. Arctic want this last round of the split, and they will get it, but Toombs with a TCSG headshot wiping MW off the board. That's going to be him going for today, I'm afraid, but still watching this hard angle. And there is going to be a lot of health lost for Savinu by any chance. And of course, with his shield being gone, he's actually going to get knocked and finished off. And that's going to be the diffuser being planted by Monks. What just happened?
A triple kill with the MP5 for Solar. And then I think just the smoke canister finishing off the Nomad, trying to go for the plant at the end. That is what utility, well, not just utility will get you, but also the flanking player on the outside. A masterful performance from Lions Creed. Very little resistance put up from Arctic. They didn't really have much identity as an attacking unit in any of the rounds we saw throughout their attack on Villa. And now on their defense, it's their time to turn it around, to bring back that advantage. Of course, Villa, historically defender-sided. Less so nowadays, but kitchen dining is a very strong site to go to first, especially to maybe catch off the opposition who might not be bringing the sledge.
Well, we are on the same mind with that one. I think one thing that Arctic on the... Oh, very excited.
I'm very excited. I'm an excited man, you mouse.
Well... One thing I think that Arctic failed to do that much on the defense was actually bring more than one hard breacher. As we can see, Lions Creed are not doing anything different, but as soon as their ace got taken off the board, which was played by NW, who, as you can see, got taken out a total of 6 times. Or was it NW? We'll have to go back and see that after, but of course, unfortunately, he got taken out multiple times, and that really got rid of their hard breacher as well, and that also happened on the map of Coastline, so really they haven't learned that much, but Lions Creed bring in Encryptions as their ace for the next upcoming rounds. Maybe it could just be for this one, or maybe a swap, I don't know, but Lions Creed picking the player with 2 kills and 3 deaths, I'd say that is a wise choice, being a hard breacher. You aren't really expected to pick up the kills. It's mainly Noodle, who hasn't been failing to pick them up, who is supposed to do this, but with only being 1 round from match point, a little bit of contestation going on already, opening up this window from the bedroom roof.
I think a key comparison will probably be Kusik / NW, whoever running the ace on Arctic in any particular round, and Encryptions, as Encryptions is probably the man you want on your hard breach. Arctic had a problem with losing that hard breach early on. I know I'm going to be cursing it by saying it, but Encryptions had the 3rd lowest deaths per map in the league season last time out in ECS. So he is the man who you can guarantee will stay alive more so than the rest of your team, on average, at least. So he should be able to get some holes open. We know he's useful with the kills and the utility. There we go. 2 holes already wide open inside of Laundry within the first half of the round.
That is going to give them a huge advantage on their offense, and of course using Encryptions as their ace is a very wise choice they have taken. 90 seconds remaining on the clock, and the Pulse Heartbeat Scanner is going to be used now. Well, I spoke too soon, Eback. The Encryption's going to be taken out, but already getting those walls open is a very huge play. But Vippy playing his Pulse going to catch another. It's going to be solo wiped off the board, and it looks like Noodle's not going to be happy with that and gets the refrag on Monks. Really dangerous plays going on, but the predatory attitude by Lions Creed does not go unnoticed.
Sven, who notably in this key position could be a bit of an issue for Verns and Noodle. Still a Claymore in pocket for Verns, and no Nomad with no Nomad jabs mad no on the board to protect.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Right on, straight in, straight out is what Lions Creed are doing right now, moving from room to room. But Vippy's going to catch that Nitro kill on Verns.
Well played.
Does look like Tombs is going to be playing this aggressively as well as Noodles, who's going to catch that headshot on NW. Lowering it. Oh, so close for Noodle, but Kusik is not going to have it, shutting down Noodle. It was almost a post-plant situation when he went to plant the diffuser. It excited me, but Kusik is going to take out Tombs, of course. Not really that hard to do, being the only defender left, but Noodle being a very good and experienced player. It really is a shame.
Just getting outnumbered.
Well. Sorry.
Yes, a great comeback from Arctic in... Well, not a comeback in that round. A comeback in terms of rounds, at least. They've got one on the board on their defense. That's what they'll need. Quite a convincing round all round. Not winning necessarily the utility war, but they did a good job of delaying, and then they won the majority of the fights they needed to. Enough throughout the round with the refrags as well to seal things in their favor. That is the sort of consistency we're going to need to see across maps. Of course, off they head to Aviator and Games.
Well, back up to this top
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie? Did you see a Valkyrie? There we go.
I do see a Valkyrie. It's VIP, as of course Arctic. I need to stop saying of course. They Arctic team, Lions Creed team. There's a bit of the but yes, Arctic team. Of course, they banned out the Nomad. They didn't ban the Nomad. They banned the Valkyrie on Coastline. They're bringing her out here. We've seen very little. Of course, we saw her for Lions Creed. I can't even. You take it, Grissom.
Okay, so they certainly banned out that operator on the map of Coastline, but seeing them surely bring him back into play on the map of Villa is going to be very exciting and very interesting to see. Vippy being a very good player for the side of Arctic so far and also top fragging for them. I have no doubt about it that he's going to be able to use these intel tools wisely. But actually, not at all, as Soul is going to get that opening frag on Vippy. That's going to be any chance of him catching kills this round gone. Well, obviously, but those utility tools hopefully were able to be placed down. And unfortunately, that is going to be their top fragger off the side of Arctic.
Not as strong a start from Arctic this time out. No, actually, it's Lion's Creed who start with the advantage this time. It's refragged eventually by Kusik, taking out Noodle, and it is all evened out for the defenders.
Did you just turn Australian?
It was an accident. It happens.
Okay, well, I liked it. I really did. But the demolishing attitude going on by Lion's Creed hunting for these pesky Arctic defenders, but Kusik is going to be losing a lot of health going all the way down low. However, you got me doing it now. I almost turned Australian, but it's really just waiting for the clock at this point. There's no push going on. The Gemini replicator is going to be coming out, and there we go. We're seeing Ayana being brought into play. Very excited to see what she is going to bring to the table. Peeking this corridor, spots one, but teamwork makes the dream work. Ebac Encryption's going to be catching the head of Kusik, and that's going to be wiping him off the board, already being very low. Wasn't that hard at all, but that alert is really something that they needed. Diffuser going to be picked up. Not going to waste any time at all as they go into it. And really, with that being said, they just have to make their push as soon as they can.
It's still difficult, even with a man advantage on this particular site. One of the hardest sites to push. Opening Hunting Vault will be a good start to that, cutting off any potential rotates. It'll be very difficult for players to move across and support. So if you can isolate those remaining defenders, it's great, and they certainly are isolated as there's only 2 remaining. Split across, one still inside of the vault, with the other in games.
It is still anyone's game at this point. Oh, Verm's going to be catching that headshot on Monks. And NW's going to get the refrag on Tunes. That's going to be a 1v3, 24 seconds left. And it is the lonesome defender left to be able to pull this back. Not that I don't think he has any smoke harnesses left to his name, but Encryption is also going to be knocked. But Solar is not going to wait any longer. He's going to catch the head of NW, and that is going to clear out that round for Lion's Creed. If I am not wrong, that is going to make the score 6-2, I believe, and that is going to be sending us on to. Let me just double check that I'm right. There we go. Match point.
We do love a match point. Lion's Creed certainly do. They could make it 7-2 here, improving upon their score. This is their map pick, so it only makes sense they would do better. Arctic, step up now. 4 rounds or nothing. There is a long way to go to bring it back. NW was very close there with the shot onto, I believe it was Vern's on the IQ, just missing it. That would have been quite a switch around. Him staying alive in that position, his teammate maybe not as distracted, doesn't die in that situation, it all changes, but just doesn't hit the head. That key pixel difference there, seeing the round change so drastically. And those are the margins that you can lose these rounds by. Lion's Creed just that pixel better than their opposition at the moment.
Well, I gotta say it, Ebec, your predictions are not going as planned at all. At first you thought Arctic had this game, and then you said it was
say that.
Yes, you, without a doubt, certainly did say that Arctic were going to take this game. And looking at your... Okay, let's take a look at your staff predictions.
I never
Arctic
said
versus Lion's Creed. Okay, you put Lion's Creed. Okay, I will give you that one.
Dear Lion's Creed, I always believed in you.
Oh really? Oh really? We maybe like pull up before the camera footage of when you said you think Arctic's maybe gonna take this one.
I did not say Arctic would at any point. Any point.
I heard it. They've been counting on you and everything, and you're just gonna betray them. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit of speech issues. Might have heard wrong, but Going into it, the push is already being commenced. Q6 going to be spraying and praying at this point on the soft wall in the closet leading into that walk-in. And he's not really going to get any luck just yet. Noodle's going to be already in there, and the drone work's also going to be going out to support him. But Kusik watching this tight area, well, tight peak actually, from that trophy room over to that walking is a very risky play, but he chooses to do it because he makes himself open from the left, right, and center. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Noodle and the rest of his team following behind him is still going to be continuing this push. And I got to admit, I want to see the Gemini replicator coming out.
I'm sure you will see it. There it is from Solar. It's slow from Lion's Creed. There is very little in the way of roam presence and taking quite a lot of time to get closer to the site. And they haven't even cleared out the man underneath. It's Kusik. They've seen him there before, and he's still alive there. Again, persisting, and damage taken by Lion's Creed as well. Really just not an ideal start for them. All they need is that one round, but nothing's free. What's the phrase there? You're the phrase man today.
Nothing is free. Let's have a think. Nothing more beautiful can happen than losing a round. I read half of one quote and half of the other. Nothing more beautiful can happen than winning a round. That's not the quote at all. At this point, I'm running out of quotes to actually say, but you're the pun man. Maybe you can come up with something funny. Out of ideas today, Beck?
I'm just going to get on with the round. It's Kusik, the man I drew attention to earlier. You need to clear this man. They don't have the Nomad. They don't have the Jackal. They don't have anything necessarily to clear him out. And they haven't. They've lost 2 men early on. He's going to come up the stairs here, potentially catching off the play if he gets the call from the smoke. But he's been caught off himself across from Study.
Indeed he has. It is now a 4 versus 3. Lion's Creed having that player disadvantage, but Vems is going to sort that out as he takes out NW playing as IQ. Solo going to catch the head of Sfinu, and that's going to be him wiped off the board as well. 13 seconds remaining. Nitro coming out by Monks, taking the head of Verns, now going to be leveled out to a 2v2. Both camping in the vault, watching every single angle possible. Monks and Vippy are on the top of this, but if they're going to go for this plant situation, which they are, being on the Gemini replicator is not something he was doing. I thought he was, but the plant's still going to be going down. He hits it, he turns into a post-plant situation. Monks is going to take out Solar, but that only leaves Encryptions, the only attacker left to watch this diffuser. He's going to be very low, and Monks with the triple kill.
Finishing it off in style with the LFP, everybody's favourite weapon. The only way it could be better is if they gave Clash the LFP. I would love that. That would be awesome. But for now, we'll have to do with Kaid. RCTIC get themselves another round. Quite close there from Lion's Creed, but they didn't do enough. I think they struggled in the early round and the mid round somewhat as well. They lost men. They didn't burn too much in terms of utility. They really struggled with the execute. They did a pretty good attempt from the man disadvantaged position, of course, but you never want to be in that situation with Aviator. You have to have a great start to that site, or you're in a rough situation. So Trophy and Statuary will be the situ for the next, well, site situ. I pretty much said that already. Trophy and Statuary. Oh, also, it's there's no such thing as a free lunch. Was what I was thinking of. I just remembered.
No such thing as a free lunch. Let me write that down.
Yeah, you gotta earn it. You never just win a round for free. You've always got to take the chance that the other team can give you opportunities to win. You still have to take them.
Well, no such thing as a free round indeed. I completely agree with you. I mean, unless of course the Nitro cells go horrifically wrong, but I've only seen that done once, and it was on a amateur league, which of course I will never be casting for again after witnessing one thing that team did. But getting into it, the Ash is coming back out by Noodle. He has been playing extraordinarily well. I almost stood it there. Extraordinarily well for the side of Lion's Creed, but one person who has been doing better is Solar. He has not been picking up that many solo kills. He's been picking up 2 or 3 at a time per round. Some rounds he's hitting 0, some rounds he is taking all 5. I haven't yet seen an ace, but I have seen a good couple to his name, and if he continues to do that to the upcoming rounds, then I'm pretty sure that one of these next 3 rounds he will be able for his team. Obviously, with Lions Creed being 6-3 up, RCTIC have no chance of winning this. It can only turn into a draw. So, of course, they really need to do something. Well, Lions Creed need to do something to stop it.
Well, they've managed to stunt Noodle somewhat. His deaths have really, really helped RCTIC to move through and win some of these rounds. But him getting the better of Kusik at the start is a bit of a disaster, especially with Vern stepping up onto Swinhu as well. Sorry, Svinhu. Unfortunate. Vern's very close here to Monks. 2 German operators lining up next to each other. Both seem semi-aware. That could be a key fight, as if RCTIC lose another man, it looks all but done for at this point. They need to play it smart from this position on the defense. Maybe even just catching a player off with C4s, with frost mats, could see the difference.
Difference do make difference. That's a quote I do actually have written down. But of course,
From whence? What kind of quote is that?
Well, it's meant to be differences that make a difference, and of course they really do, because RCTIC have already lost 2 players in losing Kusik and Svinhu, 2 very big players getting a lot of kills for their side. Lions Creed are going to have an easy run. Noodle being at half health is the only real concern to me at all. And of course, with RCTIC losing another, that is going to be marvelous plays for Lions Creed, but devastating to RCTIC. Monk's going to see eye to eye with Encryptions wiping him off the board. But really, it is a lot of pleasing plays coming out by Lions Creed indeed. Couple striking rounds and a couple striking plays, and it is all theirs. But Solar is going to hit that marvelous shot on Vipe, and that's going to be Noodle closing in and wiping out Monks, getting that refrag. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be Lions Creed taking not the first, but the second game in a row for this evening.
Well, that's a big 2-0 to RCTIC in their recent meeting. Well, not so recent meeting. You know what, Noodle? I love you too, because that was a fantastic play. You take my man of the match for this one. You are the MVP. Some fantastic play across the board. It would be between, I think, Solor and Noodle in general. Solor pulled out some fantastic moments, but Noodle, just that slight bit more banterous and friendly towards me. So, you know, bribery gets you somewhere.
Oh, so I'm pretty sure I know who your favorite is. Well, from the Twitch chat, you know, bribery, you know. Not the chat, the game chat, I'm sorry. But a great couple of games this evening, and I know you're very confused after hearing that one. But all of the players, I didn't really see anyone at all who had to step up and really do something for their team. Every single player helped their team in at least some way throughout that game and throughout all of the rounds. There wasn't anyone who was needing carried, and there wasn't anyone in particular who was carrying. So a great couple of roster formations from both sides, but I think we do know who came out victorious and who has shown themselves to be the better team in this game.
Do we? I'm not sure. No, Lions Creed with a fantastic showing. RCTIC, just a bit underwhelming. Never really got going, which is a surprise because we know these players can pull out some fantastic plays. They were looking good all the way through last season in contenders, of course, doing brilliantly throughout the season there. Coming in second place, it was Team Suspect in that top spot in the league, but they were high in points, high in morale, went up to those playoffs, and unfortunate Shreks and Hobbits, what can you do? But, you know, pretty good. They've been very consistently strong, and so far in majors, it's been disappointing, to say the least. So now is the time to really make good, I think, for RCTIC. They need to state that they have the intention of competing in those top positions, because majors this season is so well contended. There are so many teams. I think some of the weaker teams teams who have had turbulent seasons, I'm thinking of Jaegers potentially, who were up and down throughout a lot of last season. They have stepped up. We've seen that recently. They are looking really strong to compete for those top spots. You could get left behind if you're not the top of your game.
Yeah, we are on the same mind with that one, and of course, both teams, they put up a very good fight today. And I did say it before, Lions Creed coming out victorious. You did have to double check because you weren't that sure, were you? Nah, the sarcasm coming out. It wouldn't be EBEC without sarcasm, right? Always got to be some form of sarcasm, but it's been a extravaganza of a series. Lions Creed taking this game, well, the series 2-0 and taking both games, which is very impressive. I'd say RCTIC put up a very good fight, but of course, you're giving me some very weird looks right now. RCTIC taking a lot of the rounds, but not being able to sort of level it up with Lions Creed, apart from in that first game on Coastline where they were able to go 3-3, but Lions Creed, they only strove upwards from there and were able to take it 7-3, but RCTIC, a very good team, a very good roster. They have some good formations on the round that they did, and also the strategies. They've done quite well, and of course, Lions Creed, a incredible roster, very good team, hands down. Was very interesting being able to cast them this evening.
Yep, their attacking play was exceptional, and we've seen it tested quite a lot. They often opt for, I've seen them on defense first quite a bit, so getting to see a bit more of their attacking today was enlightening, and I'm really excited to see them compete against some of those top teams later on, not just during this league season, but also in the playoffs when it comes to those big games. They've underperformed, I think, since I've been here in general. Apparently they're a lot stronger before I came along, and they've just had a bit of a turbulent time, and they're coming up. So a lot of teams having a bit of a resurgence. Lions Creed definitely one of those. Despite the changes in roster, they look stronger than ever, I might say. And I think they have Steno still waiting in the wings to come back as well. So that sounds a little bit terrifying. If you're any of the other teams in this division. But for now, we will leave it at that. And it's just the one game for today. I'm already thinking it's the weekend. It's Thursday, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening without ECS. For now, I have been EBAC, and this has been Grissom. He is that way.